Welcome to the Babies in Business Podcast. Join your hosts, Rachel and Avram Gonzales, real-life parents and business partners. Each week on Babies in Business, Rachel and Avram create a space for entrepreneurial parents to find their own way. They'll dive into insights on topics like leadership, efficiency, self-awareness, budgeting, and human psychology as they nurture their family and build their business. Here's your hosts, Avram and Rachel.
Hey friends, we're super excited to chat with you about some of our personal goals in terms of health and fitness and share with you, I think, some pretty big laughs with some realizations we've had in just our first few weeks embarking on a new challenge.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot. So what we want to do today is we're going to share with you one of our health goals. It's through Orange Theory Fitness, where we go to the gym, and I think that you'll learn and take away some different things for you if you're embarking upon some new challenges here in the new year. And we got a good question for you here at the end of the episode. So what we want to do is we want to highlight our journey so far, so where it started and where we're at now, 2 weeks into this journey.
Yeah.
And some of the things that we've learned, how we set off and planned for it, and so on and so forth. So really quickly, if you're not a member of Orange Theory, what they have, I'll explain to you what the transformation challenge is that we jumped into and have created for ourselves. And what that is it started about, what was it, like January 13th?
Yep, 13th of January.
Runs for the following 8 weeks.
So in through March.
Yep, and our goal, what we chose inside of this challenge, was to build muscle.
Yes, both of us.
And why was that the choice for you, Rachel?
Because I'm still nursing, and there's just a lot of different things for me going on that I just don't think that weight loss, that's the other option in the challenge, would be a really good goal for me right now, since I kind of need body fat to produce all the milk that I need for my baby. So it's also something I can feel more proud of. I don't mind gaining more muscles. The bottom half of my body could use some because I've not really done many lifts for the bottom. So I want to strengthen my legs.
At first, when you heard about the Transformation Challenge,
I don't think that I should add that in. I was really hesitant because it felt like just one more thing for me to do and be accountable for and maybe feel like a failure for. So I first off, when it came up, because we always know it comes up in January, I was like, I'm not doing it. I just can't handle that. That's just one more thing. You know, it's a lot. Because I watched you go through it last year.
Yeah.
And it was really great for you. It truly was transformational. And you actually won one of the top 3 prizes.
Yeah.
But I just didn't feel like had it in me to do that.
So what changed? Because I think this was one of the things I was excited for you to share. So what changed for you?
Well, I remember it was after Christmas, after the New Year. It was just barely into January. And I thought, you know what? Was it into January or was it December? Anyway, regardless, I don't even know the time frame. But I remember coming back from the gym, and on my way home, I decided, you know what? I do want to do a transformation challenge. And the reason why it changed for me and what changed for me was I excel and I push myself when I am in some kind of challenge physically. Growing up, I was taught to be mentally tough, but not physically tough. I mean, I knew that I could do chores on the farm, you know, we had a cow and we had pigs and chickens and goats and we had a garden and we did all those things. I didn't go to school, so that was kind of what we did for growing up for a long time for me. But I just found that I did better. Looking back at all the times that I succeeded and I broke my personal records at Orange Theory, it was when I was competing for a time or a distance or something specific. There was a goal in mind and I had a strategy going in. Yeah. So I wanted that for myself. I thought, you know, I'm sleeping better. I've been sleeping for 8 hours at night for over a month now, and I'm feeling really good and I'm not feeling taxed at both ends, like my candle's being burned at both ends and I'm just dwindling. So I just felt like now was a great time.
Yeah, and then the muscle challenge is like, okay, I can get behind this for the reasons that you shared before.
It's measurable, and I've never really been able to, because of our schedule, I've never been able to participate in the lower lift challenges or classes, so I don't go in and just focus on my legs and the lower part of my body to strengthen those muscles, and I just know that I could benefit from it. I had this transformational massage in December that unlocked some of the energy or whatever was going on with my hamstrings. I literally feel like I have a different body because of what this massage therapist did, and I've gone back about like 2 or 3 times, and it's really changed. I went from being in pain all the time and not actually knowing what 100% looked like for me, because I was actually probably functioning at about 50. And then when I got those massages, I just can't describe how much pain I was in, and now I am not in pain. I find something every single day that I can do differently and better because my muscles actually work. I feel like my hamstrings hadn't fired for about 15 years.
Wow.
Like when I would stretch, they'd just get inflamed and mad and angry.
I think there's a whole episode to unpack around your feelings and what shifted through that massage, and I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to when they have that breakthrough moment. And there's just, we've chatted at length some of the mindset shifts that have occurred for you.
Oh my gosh.
It's been massive. like when Avram says he's sore, I think that's different than like, I'm in pain.
Yeah.
So we'll unpack that in a future episode.
Absolutely. That's a whole episode,
Thank you, Kyle Dye, for giving me this new part of my wife that we didn't know existed. So we'll leave it at that for now. Maybe we'll chat more about it.
We'll definitely put a link in the show notes for Kyle Dye. He's the massage therapist. If you're here in Albuquerque, it's transformational.
So one of the things that we knew when we started this challenge was we needed to have a plan to accommodate what is essentially a lifestyle shift in our schedule and our meal plan.
Yes, and in our schedule, more so because we would be competing for the same class as you and I. We would need more strength training, which is only offered a couple times a week. It's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Those are the days that have those lifts that we would want to incorporate into our time. And it took strategy because it's going to be at different times of the day, most times, to accommodate for those kinds of classes. And you need them and I need them and we need them regularly every week. So in order to compete, you have to have 3 classes each week for Transformation Challenge. So we did have to make sure that both you and I attend 3 classes a week.
Yeah.
And then also make it weighted heavily on the side of strength, those strength trainings.
So we'll save you some of the details of it, but basically what we did is we scouted the schedules for our gym and the other 2 gyms that are nearby to find out when all the times were. We realized that there were a bunch of afternoon times and things that were available at other studios, but they just were not going to work for our schedule.
Absolutely not. Well, we found that at our home gym right here over on the west side of Albuquerque worked for us. We didn't have to go anywhere else to accommodate all of the classes that we wanted. We just had to stagger it differently. Previously, we'd been going every other day.
We would just switch.
I would go Monday, you'd go Tuesday. I'd go Wednesday, you'd go Thursday. That kind of thing. And it's been going on for that for a year and a half. So we changed it up. And what we did is, in order to accommodate this, because it is quite complex, it's you do this schedule this week and I do this schedule this week. And then we flip-flop it the next week. And then flip-flop again and flip-flop again. So we have a picture and we're going to put it in the show notes. I actually created a schedule for you and a schedule for me with specific dates and how we would schedule it. So we also had a plan of how to schedule it because there are a lot of other people doing Transformation Challenge and we wanted to make sure to get the classes we want. So we are booking a month out. Yeah,
there are only 12 spots available in each of these lift classes, not 24 like the regular class at our studio. And we knew we'd have to book them ahead of everybody else. And what did we find the first few weeks?
Everyone was booked out.
Everybody was booked, but we had our spots secured already.
Correct. Well, and so what we do is we just make sure I set an alarm. I have a reminder on our phones. Both you and I will get them at like 6:05 in the morning. That's when we are up in the morning and we'll do something. If it's your day to schedule a class, you'll do it. If it's mine, I will do it. But we make sure that we're scheduling the very next class that has come up with availability to schedule.
Yeah.
And then we're always in.
We're always in.
We get the schedule that we need, and it was imperative that we do that we have the plan, and that we could book further out because we could not make it work any other way. We already knew our schedule, and it's dependable.
Yeah, and we knew that the classes are coveted, so we got to do it this way so that we get our spot. So these are the things that we recognized were going to be obstacles for us going in. So we eliminated the obstacles. We also planned for some travel that we're going to have next month, and Rachel called ahead to the studios. Today, actually.
A month out-ish.
To put us on the calendar for those times at those 2 different studios out in Utah. So the schedule part, we nailed it. there were all these other complexities we dealt with. We figured it out after we mapped it out.
Yep.
And then you got to see these photos of Rachel that put together a calendar just to make it easy for us to track.
It's just been really cool. And I think the reason why we share this, though, is it's less about what we did, but it is about that we did something. We had a plan, and we can execute it a month out from where we are because we know exactly what is going to happen a month out. So if you have goals or whatever that might be in your business or your personal life, with your fitness journey, whatever that looks like, do you have that plan? Do you have that awareness of what works for you and your spouse or your family?
We'll, in the show notes, have our copywriter include some links to other podcasts we've done about goal setting and planning. That if you liked this today, you're going to hear us just go way deeper, and you can geek out on that if you're that type of person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about the meal plan, and then let's talk about after that, because those are the two big things. It's the schedule and then the meal plan.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about how it's going.
Sure.
Okay. So meal planning.
Yeah.
We have not had to create a meal plan to achieve a certain amount of protein in a day.
Correct.
Last year I did the transformation challenge and I did win 3rd place, but at the same time I also won a couple extra pounds of body fat in addition to the muscle that I'd gained.
Yeah, because you just did your very best to consume protein, but you found that like protein shakes, your body did not like that. Oh gosh, you were not.
I had intestinal issues.
Yeah, you were just really, it was unpleasant and uncomfortable. So we knew that we needed to do something different this time. And with a family and with 2 boys, we knew that what we would need is something far more sophisticated than just, we're going to make it work.
Yeah.
So what we did is we have this app. There are meal planning apps and all sorts of things, but this is one that collects recipes, and then you can create a menu and you can create a shopping list. And it's really easy. Once you've created a menu, you can literally click on the menu and add it to your grocery list, and it literally creates a grocery list for you. So what we did is we went through and we chose 3 meals, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we chose 3 snacks, and then we made sure that they were high on protein.
That was it. And what we decided was we can run this one meal plan, breakfast, lunch, dinner, plus these 3 snacks for a week.
Yep.
And then we will do a totally different menu the following week.
And we just took 2 menus.
2 menus.
So we had week 1, week 2, and we'll swap week 1, week 2, and then week 3 becomes week 1, you know, and you just roll those in. So it's every other week.
Just alternate. So like the thought process was it has to be easy for us to do.
Correct.
And no thought.
It needs to be easy to execute, just eating whatever we have planned. It needs to be in the house. It needs to be meal prepped if it's already done. It just needs to be simple and easy because there's too many things going on with work and children.
Yeah. So
the shopping went well. The meal prep went well. The first week was great. The second week was okay. As far as that went.
Yeah,
the execution of grocery shopping and prepping and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we got that part nailed, but there are some things that we did not anticipate. So that's where we started. We are almost 2 weeks in. Rachel, what's the biggest hurdle that you have found so far in our new lifestyle?
In the menu, the biggest source of protein is meat.
Yep.
And maybe people don't know this about me. I grew up pretty much vegetarian. We didn't consume a lot of meat unless it was from like the pig that we raised or the goats or whatever it was that we had on the farm to consume, turkeys, chickens, whatever. So I don't really love meat. And I definitely don't love the quantities that we planned for this week or last week. I literally find myself thinking of food and just being so turned off by it that I'm just, I'm pretty repulsed.
So Rachel, I'm noticing, I'm like, I think she's getting grossed out, but she won't say anything, right? She's gonna stick through it. And she, the other day she goes to me, you know, just in the first like 8 or 9 days here, I think I have consumed more meat than in my entire life previous.
My entire 37 years previous to that.
And I was like, you know, she might be right because we really don't have a high meat diet in our regular life.
No.
So it has been a huge, huge change. So we're making some alterations to the menu. The other thing that we have recognized with Rachel's diet is as a breastfeeding mom, she just needs more.
Yeah, I just feel there's a lot of things that I'm feeling, and it's not just cravings, it's not just all these other things that might come up, but I just need the energy and I need the calories.
Yep.
The lady, when I did my weigh-in, had said that I should be consuming, on the day that I do a workout, should consume additional calories to match what I burned in that class because I'm breastfeeding. She asked specifically about that. So knowing that I need more calories in the day than you or somebody else in a different situation, or myself in a different situation, not breastfeeding, just knowing that. So I find myself low energy.
Yeah, so we're just making some modifications. Like we're gonna add in a bunch of veggies, even some carbs for Rachel that maybe we wouldn't normally do and had planned for. So
and
that's
for me,
gonna be an easy adjustment.
When we first started planning, I was like, it's really nice when you and your partner are on the same track because you're actually planning and consuming the same meals, and you can sit down and it's the same thing without additional planning. But when you add other things, then it's like I become a temptation to you if I'm consuming something different than you. And so I think part of me was just aware of that and wanted to help support your journey too. Just didn't realize how much of a mental tax it would be on me to consume so much meat.
So we figured out the easy swap, at least for now, and we're going to roll with it the next week and make changes, is we're swapping dinners out in a big way.
Yeah.
But it's the breakfast and the lunch that are fine and good, but it's just so much by the time we have dinner.
And the snacks are good. We had like some protein balls that we made that had pretty high protein content with like oats and some different things that had just made really good protein, but they were also just not heavy. So really cool to see having something in place and then seeing what does and doesn't work. But you got to try something and you got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere.
So that was us.
I'm going to share my one realization from being on a meal plan.
Yeah.
And then I think we'll probably just wrap here.
Yeah.
My realization within the first 2 days was, first it was, I am so hungry all the time.
Yes.
And that realization was paired with, I think we've been eating a lot of fillers and sugars, and that is why we feel more full normally.
Right.
And now we are not eating that.
So our body is satisfied calorically, it sounds like. Like we're getting what we need and what we need to want and need to consume for the goals that we have. But we're on a regular basis just consuming more than that so we don't feel full.
It's just
or we feel different kind of fullness.
Yeah, so it's just very interesting. I noticed like lower energy the first few days.
Yeah.
My energy has picked back up.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just been interesting, eye-opening in many ways.
But you do not have the gastro stuff.
No, I have not. I think it's just every time that you can do something that's a little bit outside your comfort zone or a lot, you learn new things, you have new insights, your mindset shifts. And
Absolutely.
I just love doing stuff like this on a regular basis. And I appreciate Orange Theory for providing the vessel and the opportunity to do it. Yeah. You know, we got this really amazing in-body scan weigh-in that we did in the front end. And then that's the metric to see how much muscle we have gained in the next 8 weeks. And we get to do that again at the end and then celebrate that.
Yeah, very exciting.
It's pretty cool. And I think that we're just going to take some things we've learned here in terms of planning back into our operations in the business.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a whole other episode as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love seeing similarities in our personal life that apply in business and vice versa.
Yeah, so we'd love to hear from you. If you go to the show notes, it's babiesandbiz.com/ whatever this episode number is. I think it's like 68 that we might be on, maybe 69 now. And go there. You'll see some of the photos that we talked about. You can also see some of the other podcast recommendations, but we also have a community question for you. If you scroll down to the bottom of that page or follow us on social media, we want to know, how's your New Year goals going, business or personal? Have you had to make an adjustment?
Yeah,
what was it?
We're just a couple weeks in, we're almost a month in, and have you noticed that you'd like to make some adjustments to keep on that track, that trajectory?
I'd love to hear some of the pivots and changes you've made and why, and have that conversation over there at the blog. So with that, we appreciate you tuning in. We've got more exciting episodes and things that we're excited to share with you in the coming months. And 2025 is like, man, month one is almost behind us already. It's wild. If you haven't already, go over to Apple or Spotify, wherever you're listening, and leave us a 5-star review. Those reviews encourage other listeners to jump on the bandwagon and become part of the Babies in Business community and these conversations that we're having. With that being said, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Babies in Business Podcast. Who do you know that would benefit from hearing this episode? Share it with them and post about it on social media. You can find the show notes for this episode, free downloads, and connect with the rest of the community at babiesandbiz.com. We'll see you next time.